Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders just took Josh Conerly, offensive tackle from Oregon, with their first-round pick. A little bit of a surprise, but you can never complain when they are beefing up the offensive line to protect your biggest asset, the quarterback, Jaden Daniels. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. But let's talk about this pick. So if you told me this was the pick a day ago, I wouldn't have been super upset or happy. I would have been like, a solid pick. And we kept hearing this name in terms of meeting with them. He had a top 30 visit, combine visit. Not sure about the Senior Bowl. I guess not because but when they were going to the board with all those guys available, Mike Green, Donovan Ezaraku, and then Jahad Campbell, Will Johnson, for them to take Josh Conerly, it's a little bit disappointing, but like I said, you can never complain when you're beefing up the offensive line, taking a guy that is going to help your offensive line for years to come. So you got Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Josh Conerly, who is going to be your right tackle, and then you got a bunch. You got Brandon Coleman, who can probably play right guard for you, and then left guard will be. I mean, honestly, you can probably move Coleman to left guard for now, and then have Wiley play right guard until Cosme comes back. But let's talk about him. So he's 6'5", 311 pounds. Played at Oregon, is from Seattle, Washington. 6'5", 311 pounds. Like I said, it's not a reach. He was projected to go first round. So late first round. This is right around where he was projected to go. The vertical jump's pretty good for a guy his size, and projected to go round 1, round 2. Played in 13 games in his freshman year, but mostly as a reserve. Started 14 games at left tackle in 2014, and first team All Big Ten this past year. Finalist for the nation's top offensive lineman. Played left tackle, but with the Commanders will play right tackle. So let's read his overview. 2-year starter whose in-season improvement and performance against Penn State Abdul Carter make it easier to project his future. He's proportionally built but lacks ideal play strength. That can always get better. He strains at the point of attack but needs to get his hips and hands synced to improve as a finisher. He moves easily in space and gets to his angles to help spring the run. Conerly sets with smooth slides and ready hands, but gets caught oversetting. Anchor troubles against power that might be challenging to correct. He sees twists and blitzes developing and recovers with athleticism when beaten. He's young and needs more development, but he should be a good start at tackle or guard. So he can play guard, but if you're drafting him in the first round, you're probably going to try him at tackle first. So here are all of his strengths and weaknesses. Like I said, I'm not going to grade this. I think it's a fine pick. Again, I would have much rather had Mike Green, who is still available, Donovan Ezaraku, who is still available. They took Josh Conerly. I'm going to trust Adam Peters on this one. He's done wonders with this roster in just 1 year. So until he gives us a reason to not trust him, I'm going to continue to trust him. And, you can never complain when it's a guy that's going to help protect your best asset. And, it's improving the trenches, not necessarily the defensive line, which, just not necessarily, just not the defensive line because, that's what you wanted. But, they do have, some really good pass rushers in this division. Abdul Carter now, Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Dexter Lawrence, on the Eagles, and I forgot Brian Burns. On the Eagles, you got Jalen Carter, you got a bunch of, Nolan Smith, you have a bunch of different good edge rushers there. Obviously, the, Cowboys have Micah Parsons, so a lot, and the defensive tackle, Osu, whatever his last name is, but there's a lot of really good pass rushers in this division, so shoring up the offensive line is good. I just rather went the other direction with Mike Green or Donovan Ezaraku, but I'm not the GM, and again, I don't think this is a bad pick. Josh Conerly was probably the best offensive lineman available. He's still young. He can develop. You can get him to be a Pro Bowl tackle hopefully in the future. And your ideal offensive line: left tackle Tunsil, left guard Wiley, left guard Coleman, center Biotish, right guard Cosme, right tackle Josh Conerly. And then if Cosme isn't ready for the season, which is probably the case, then you have Wiley as your starting guard. You have a lot of good depth right now with the offensive line. So, I know a lot of people are probably upset that they didn't take Mike Green, that they didn't take Azaraku or even Jahad Campbell, but you're adding to the trenches. You're helping out your offensive line. I don't know a ton about Josh Conerly besides what I just read to you guys. He was a guy, though, that I did have my radar on just because they met with him a bunch of different times. So let's see right here, John Kahn, see what he's saying about the pick. He'll give us a little bit of analysis, and then I'll go ahead and end the video. So he just said they're taking Conerly. So that's really it. I'll make a video later on tomorrow about the best available players, some trade candidates. Also, again, I understand people's frustration with this pick if they are frustrated just because the defense was a big reason why we lost last year. I mean, it was the reason in the playoffs, allowing 55 points. You have to add to the defense. So second round pick, hopefully that is the case. And I also wouldn't have minded if they traded back from 29 to 35 and took in Conerly, but it is what it is. They have much more information than we do, so taking Conerly, it is what it is. I think it's an pick, above average. I think it's a decent pick, but could have been better in my opinion. But it is what it is. A lot of different guys falling. I want to see right now who just got picked, who the Bills took, and then the Chiefs as well. But we'll see what happens, what continues to develop. So the Bills took Maxwell Harrison, so still a lot of really good players available. So I guess the Eagles and Chiefs just traded. Interesting there. But that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.